Hi and welcome back. I have been asked by a few people about some more exercises for stretching glutes and the outer hip area. So that's what this little video is going to be about. One thing that I just want to say before we get cracking is if you are extremely tight on one side or in one particular area, I know that it's really easy to get very caught up in really stretching the area that feels tight. I just want to throw out there that it might be worth investigating the balance of strength and flexibility that you have going on, and in particular to observe what's happening on the opposite side of your body, in case you have a muscle weakness or your glutes on the other side, for example, aren't firing properly, and that's meaning that the side that is super tight is perhaps overworking. So that's just a little observation from working with my own body that I want to throw out there that might be helpful for you. Okay, so in terms of working with stretching the glutes, a few different things that we can do. A really nice one is if you work with one leg stretched out straight, and so we've got right leg extended out and the left foot comes to the outside of the right thigh. I just want to say here, this is not a yoga pose. It is something that I'm offering out, something that is more functional as opposed to making a pretty yoga shape. That's not what we're doing here. And quite frankly, as runners, not really what we need either. So left foot goes to the outside of the right thigh. You can use your left hand on the floor if you need it for support, and if you take your right hand onto the outside of the left knee and then ease your left knee towards your right shoulder, and might not look like I'm doing very much, but you will feel it. You should start to feel it through this area here. If you are not feeling so much of a stretch, then if you walk your left foot further out towards the right and then work with that same action of drawing the left knee towards the right shoulder, you will find that you get a deeper stretch. So you work into where you can feel a stretch that is helpful for you, so we're not going for overwhelming sensation, oh my gosh, why is this woman asking me to do this, but rather feel for a stretch that feels like it is helpful for you, the sweet spot I often call it. So when you find your point, hold for say somewhere between 8 to 10 breaths, and then walking the foot back, and the left leg will extend out, right foot comes to the outside of the left thigh, and then maybe walking that foot a little out towards the left side, and perhaps using the right hand on the floor for support if you need to, and using the left hand to ease the right knee towards the left shoulder. And for me, this side, for some reason, is a little tighter than the first. So you find where you're getting a helpful stretch for you, explore where you're putting this foot, move it in, move it out. You'll find that that helps to moderate and determine the level of stretch that you're going to get. And then bringing that foot all the way back in. Next stretch that I want to show you is a lying on the back version of the stretch that we get in pigeon pose. So I know that for many people that are runners, we get super tight, right? Especially if you're in the middle of quite an intensive training cycle, and you rock up to your yoga class and your teacher's like, hey, I'm going to do pigeon. You're like, oh my gosh, please no. So good news is, if that's you, don't worry, we have an alternative. So if you come to lie down on the back for this one, left ankle to the outside of the right thigh, see how you get on. If you are super tight, this exercise will target more the piriformis, which is the muscle that runs diagonally through the buttock, if you like. If you're super tight and if you tighten your hips, this might be like weight enough. Otherwise, pick the right foot up, left arm through the triangle of the left leg, hold the back of the right thigh, hold onto the right shin, or you might actually take a strap or a towel, any belt will do, and use that. So as you draw the right knee into the chest, you will start to feel the stretch in your left glute. And once again, you just take it to where you can feel a stretch that is helpful for you, and then you hold it here. Go for about 10 breaths. If that feels too much, less. If you feel that you want to hold it a little longer, you can equally do so as well. And then releasing off and changing sides. So the right ankle goes to the outside of the left thigh,
And then you're making like a figure of 4, like a number 4 shape with your right leg. And then bringing the right arm through, holding the back of the left thigh, and all holding onto the left shin. Once again, this is my Tyler side today. So breathing deeply. Notice what's happening with this foot here. If you're someone that happens to be more flexible, notice if your foot is sickling, so it starts to kind of go on a diagonal, and press more through the base of your big toe. And if you're someone that's not feeling that you get very much from this shape, well, A, you might just want to work with pigeon, or B, activate more through the base of the big toe, and that should intensify the stretch for you if that's what you're after. Okay, and then releasing down. Another one that I quite like is to work with a lying down version of what we call in forest yoga knee pile. I think in other yoga they call it Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So working with the feet up off the floor, legs bent, and if you bring the left knee on top of the right knee and then flex your feet and catch a hold of the feet, the outer foot with the hands. And then from here, if you flex the feet and press your feet into your hands. It doesn't work so much if the feet are down here, so keep the feet lifted in line with the knees. And you press your feet into your hands, hands resist back into the feet, and that will give you a really nice stretch through the glutes and the outer hip as well. My friend Jumbo calls this the nutcracker. So working with that, holding 8 breaths, 10 breaths, whatever works for you, and releasing. If you want, you can make some little circles with the knees together if that feels helpful. And then we go the other side, so the right knee goes on top of the left knee, and then catching a hold of the outer edges of the feet, and then once again pressing the feet into the hands, hands pull the feet, so you're resisting against yourself. I'm working here. Work with slow, long, deep breaths. Now, I'm saying 10 breaths, but if you feel that you're breathing really quickly just to get it over and done with, take slower, longer, deeper breaths and just work with less breaths. Okay, and then releasing once again, maybe hugging the knees in if you wish. And then final thing that I want to show you today, you will need a strap for this. Once again, if you've got a yoga strap, great. If you haven't, just press pause on this, go grab a towel or a regular clothing belt off your dressing gown would work equally fine as well. So we'll work here with the strap looped around let's go on the left side first. And the leg will be straight up. If you're really tight in hamstring, you might bend the leg at the knee a little, that's absolutely fine. For this one, we'll work, this starts to get a little bit more into the IT band. Yes and no, not my favourite place either to work with stretching, but needs must, right? It's really important that the pelvis stays neutral and flat, so use the left hand on the left hip just to gauge. The buttock, it'll probably want to lift up, that will ease the stretch off, i.e. you won't get the stretch that we're after. So right hand holds strap, the strap is around left foot, and then here you are moving the left foot over to the right as if it's coming towards the right shoulder. You will most likely find you don't necessarily have to move the leg very much to start to get the stretch through the outer left leg, outer left hip. So you just take this to wherever is comfortable for you, but making sure that the pelvis stays neutral, so the left buttock's got to stay down. So once again, just take it to where works for you. Keep this top foot flexing. Keep your shoulders relaxed, keep your jaw relaxed. Your hips and your legs are tight. Having a tight jaw is not going to make it any better, unfortunately. Okay, coming back to centre, changing over. So left leg extends out. The strap will loop around the right foot. Left hand takes the strap, right hand pins down the right hip. Deep breath in, flexing through the top foot, and then easing the foot over towards the opposite shoulder. You'll feel the stretch through the back of the leg as well. And just taking this to wherever is appropriate for you, making sure pelvis stays neutral. Coming back to centre and releasing down. So those are a few different stretches that you can work with for starting to get into the glutes and the hips. One other thing I just want to offer out is make sure that you are warming up before you go out running. Yes, I know we just want to get out the door, but it's really important. And also make sure that you do a little bit of stretching when you get back. Makes a massive difference. And these also could be the game changers that mean that you don't end up quite so tight in the first place. But anyway, I hope that this was helpful. Enjoy. Any questions, you can pop them down below, or feel free to find me on Instagram. I'm Rosalind_running-yogi, or you can have a look on my website, rosalindtrafford.com, and contact me through there. Have a great day and happy running. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.